Hey everybody, it's Doodlebud. Here we go again. Another pen like I needed one. But quickly, don't forget we got the 800 subs contest. As we move to 900 then 1,000, you can win this pen. You just got to check out that video and leave a comment to enter. And hey, thanks to everyone who support me. This is cool. I'm enjoying it. Your comments, your likes, your thumbs down, whatever it is, and subscribes. Thanks again. But here we go. From the Ranga & Co. Out in India. So this was interesting. I don't normally do unboxings, but the fact it's like in this little cloth case and they handwrite the address. Looks like ballpoint. Uses a ruler. I just thought, I mean, it's a neat touch. It's different for sure. But how many of these you got to do? Wouldn't that just be at least a label or something? Or you order enough of these and psh, they get, stamped on like a t-shirt and you have a whole big cloth and you just cut out the ones here to make your life a little easier. Anyways, another thing too, this is sewn together. So, I didn't want to bore you with the unboxing, but it was kind of interesting where it's kind of like a bag of rice when you got to take the thread out. So anyways, I will slide out the pen here. And we'll get going. I gotta turn the camera off. So we'll back in a second. Okay, we're out of the sleeve. And again, just it's different. Normally, again, I wouldn't do much in the way of unboxings other than just show the box real quick. But it's not real snake skin, but it's kind of cool. I don't have any other boxes like this. Got the Ranga logo, and oh, he's got a crown like me with my logo. But he did a nib. Oh, that's smart. I should have did that with my logo. Anywho's, crack it open. Ranga handmade pens. You can get a hold of them at rangapens.com. Sometimes you can find them on eBay as well. And this is the one we're reviewing. Be there back in a second. You get a little card. Shows some of the different styles. And there's tons on his website. You get a freebie. Yeah, it's not the best of pens. It's free, so you can't complain. I don't think I'll ever use that. If I'm going to send somebody something in a giveaway, I'll include that one. And then you get another nib feed. So I guess this is for the pen, because in there right now is cartridge converter. So maybe if you want an eyedropper, you're supposed to use this instead. I'm not sure. It looks a little smaller too. So I didn't read in too much about it. Maybe someone can leave some notes in the comment. All right, box gone. I think that's a new record for how long I've spoken about a pen box. This is the pen. And so this is the model. Hold on, I wrote it down here because there's so many models. This is the 8B, as in, oh yeah, that's a nice pen. So 8B, there's different, countless styles and shapes. So this is this one. It's got a real classic cigar, double pointed, good for poking on either end. So that's a good feature. Clip, you can choose to have clip or no clip, and even the color of the clip. I went with the white gold. It's got the Ranga on there. This is a stiffy. That's a stiff clip. Again, I don't think any of my dress shirts have pockets in them anymore, in the front pockets. But if you really like to slip your pen in there, this is a big pen anyways. I don't think you would, but it's a stiff one. So I just like it more just because it's a roll stop. All right. So this is the, what's the color again? Rose red, black ripple. And yeah, nice pen. So we'll do dimensions and weight really quick. I'll just show you around real fast. Nice tapered section, fairly long as well. Number 6 nib. This is, I believe these are Canwrite nibs, and it's got the Ranga logo on there as well. Again, options, you can have two-tone or just gold. Well, since we're zoomed in, I'll give you a closer looky-loo. So you can also order matte or polished. So again, that's really, really cool. You can do all these options. And, handmade pen, so there's little imperfections, it's, what is this pen? Was it 30? I think I said, yeah, $38. So if you get more expensive one, maybe there's a little more time with it as well. But it's a handmade pen, made pretty darn well, looks cool. Okay. I did notice though when I got it, I don't have the light on, but anyways, let me zoom back out. There was a lot of like kind of shavings left over on it, so it could have used a wash. We'll take this off, and is there any? Yeah, you can see I'm I'm getting it on my fingers, right? So this is just left over ebonite. Oh, that's ink. But it was a little, just some goo and stuff like that. And here you can maybe see some of it. But anyways, so when you get the pen, give it a wash. Some people were saying, oh yeah, some people were saying they find these types of pens smell. So let's just give it a quick sniff test. Well, I don't know. I have bad smell. So it's weird. I can smell the good smells, but I don't typically smell the bad smells. That's just how it goes. But it doesn't have a very strong odor. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a metal pen shouldn't smell. And they all smell the same to me. So I'm not, the person to judge on smells, because I'm always stuffed up a little bit. But I don't find anything bad with this pen as far as the scent goes. Fits nicely in the hand. Again, I got a big hand, and the 149 is my favorite pen, the Montblanc 149, for size and everything else too. So this is very comparable to that size. I'll get you dimensions and all this as well. It doesn't post very well. You put it on there, you touch it, it falls off. So keep that in mind. But it's plenty big. You can watch videos of them making the pens online. And so I'll chat about that, because coming from an engineering background, there's lots of things I notice on how they make it. Just from the video, I watch it, but I go, oh, that could be a little problem. Oh, why don't you do it that way? So I'll chat about that a little bit. If you don't want to listen to this chat, you can just want Martin Benjamin's writing samples, feel free to scroll ahead. So overall, it's made quite well. You can see a little scratch patterns. So when they say polished, it's not perfect luster, but that's totally fine. But the only part with the pen, one thing I noticed too, actually, just really quick, you will get little dips and low spots. Like right here, for example, you probably cannot see it in the camera, but there's a little bit of a dip. That can happen, just uneven pressure. You're doing this by hand, or when you're removing material off of it too, you could just push the touch too hard and you get a bit of a low spot. But again, that goes with handmade territory. The one part I found was just the threads. So I'll bring it up to the mic. They're a little bit squeaky. And it is better than when I first got it. When I first got it, it would thread and you'd still see threads sticking out. So I thought maybe this wasn't counterboard deep enough. But as I discovered, just the threads were super, super tight. So I did notice one just on the setup. So I'll put a link in the description at the bottom of him making it. He's very skilled. Now again, that video could be different than how he makes them all. He might have just did a little bit different just for the video. I don't know. But on the equipment, so he's got a 3-jaw chuck head from like a drill used in a handmade, like a self-made tool, homegrown tool, for a special lathe for that. And there's nothing wrong with that, with making your own custom equipment. And tooling, that's fine. But a drill chuck isn't good. It's designed to drill. So if you have a drill bit and you want to put it in, even if it is lateral, that's fine. But it's meant for a force that's in line with the center point of the tool, right? It's not supposed to experience, if you got to remove material, pressure going in. So if you need to go across 90 degrees, it's not meant to handle a force like that. Or if you got to remove material as well, right? You're just putting a load on it like that. So drill chucks aren't meant for that. So I did notice there's quite a bit of wobble. One, it could be the material not being perfectly round, but even after he does some shaping and stuff, there is a fair amount of wobble on it, and especially if you have to turn the part back over, your centers are just totally not even close to each other. Again, it's handmade, but there's a few little things. If you just had a better setup with that, whether it was a collet you had in there or just a proper little mini lathe, it would do a much better job of doing that. And also too, his access point isn't straight on. It would be better to, with that kind of setup, if you're the person making the pen, you apply load and you're kind of working straight on versus it's always coming from the side. Especially if you can do it by hand and eyeball everything, that's just a tougher vantage point. And then also too, if you're going to be doing this, like, I'm not trying to pick this apart. He's been making pens forever, does a good job. But there's a tool rest. So you'll see on there, there's like this little T fixture, and you rest your cutting tool on it. And he's constantly adjusting that. That's fine for that. But when you're going to do bores, and then you're going to clean this up, you're now sort of guessing the height and also angles and whatnot. So it's easier to be straight on. And then what you would ideally want is a custom little tool block. So it's like a little, you know, sits on a flat surface at the exact height it needs to be on the center line of the unit that's turning. So that way when you put this on here, that this is spinning and you need to bore it, you're dead center on that. You're not guessing. And then especially when you're cutting threads. So, you know, you got a lot of things you have to get right when you're doing this by hand. You have to have two circles that have to be concentric, so along the same center point. That's hard to do, especially if you're flipping parts and you got to go on other sides. It's really tough on that equipment. But then also when you're cutting threads, so whether it's this part or this part's in the chuck and you're spinning it, this is my wife's eyebrow brush. But it looks a lot like the tool he had to cut threads. So again, if you're looking straight on, it's easier to get to that center. He's kind of going from the side and doing it this way. And now, it's two-dimensional here, but let's just show you. So if you go a little too far this way or this way, if you're not quite flat versus if you had tooling it sits on and goes on center each time and it's flat, you got a better chance of cutting a great thread. And then the other part too, so you can be angled this way, and then also on the thread you can be angled this way. So you could be cutting extra deep or too shallow at the start. So there's just a little bit of a, you know, something off being just a touch can have a big impact on the threads. So whew, that was a long sidebar. Oh my gosh, this is going long already. That was the only part with the pen. It's just the threads are not great on this one compared to some other ones I have, and it's just really going to be the tooling. So in the video, if that's how he makes them all, a couple little tweaks and it could fix some of those problems, especially with the setup there too. But overall, for this price point, and he's got other pens that are a little bit more too, but getting a handmade pen from whatever material you want, whether it's a custom acrylic or ebonites, clips, no clips, polished or unpolished, different feeds, different nibs and all that stuff as well. That's really amazing. You can pull that off for that price. So, all right, let's get to some dimensions in that, and then let's start writing with it. First, let's just weigh it. 25 grams for the whole shebang there. How much is the cap? 9, so 16 in the body. And when I do the size comparison, you'll see this is a big pen, so nice and light for a large pen. At the size comparison, so it's big. This is a Mont Blanc 149, by the way, so it's bigger than that. Delta Dolce Vitae, this is the rip-off version. But yeah, TWSBI VAC 700, Montegrappa Elmo, Pilot 823 Visconti Homo Sapien. I'll pop the caps. Let's see what we got. The caps, that took a long time, actually. So here we are, uncapped, still the biggest. So yeah, it's, you know, I love my 149. It's got a little more girth here in the section. I'll give you a dimension of that in just a second. But yeah, if you like a big pen, this is, again, there's smaller versions. Check out the site. You can learn all about them. So let's just check out the section. You know, 10.6 tapers, you know, 11.8, 11.9 top of this there, so right around 12 millimeters. So yeah, so you get a little variation depending where you want to hold it. The outer diameter there, 14.3. So yeah, very comfortable. Again, I got a big mitt, and this fits in here without posts in it, which, by the way, on this, I know other ones you can, but on this particular one, just can't do it. Not happening. Not going to post. So If you jam it on there, it's still crooked. So not posting this one, but don't need to. Plenty big. Okay, let's get right. And I went way too long with my thread rant. So I just noticing the time here. So this is the Ranga Model 8B. And this is in the rose red black ripple. I believe the color code for this was S12. Oh. And this is a fine nib in steel, of course. What I'm going to do real quick, I'll pause it. I'm going to do a nib width comparison just for your reference real quick. Okay, so what we're looking at, this is, let me point with the pen. This is the Ranga in the fine, TWSBI VAC 700 in a fine. They're very close to each other. This is a Pelican M800 series in an extra fine, so a touch narrower. This is a Faber-Castell fine steel nib, pretty close as well. And this is the Lamy 2000 extra fine. So extra fine, these are the other fines. So just so you have a reference, I know it's nice to know what's it look like compared to some other pens. Last couple of things. Let's do reverse writing. Yeah, it does it. It's, you know, super scratchy. Wetness, it's fantastic. It's very wet. Really great there. And then let's continue with the Canadian language lessons. Keener. So maybe it's not just Canadian. What's a keener? I found especially more common in university than high school, but they're in high school as well. Again, not trying to offend, but a keener is, you know, the guy or gal. Usually they come in pairs sometimes, I found. They just love being in that class. No better place to be than whatever the course topic is you're in. Nothing wrong with enjoying it. But just asking endless questions throughout the lecture. I mean, it's a 50-minute lecture. You got 6 courses, 5 labs that semester. You got a lot to go through. And whoever it is up front, just so many questions. And it's just, come on, let's get through this. And then you realize you should probably kind of know some of this stuff for being so into this class. Super keener. So that's a Canadianism. Maybe it's an ism everywhere else. Let me know in the comments if this is a word you've used and if you're from another place, another time, if you're familiar with that one too, not just up here in Canada. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to enter in to win the pen. On to 900 subs and then 1,000. We're going to have some fun with this. Thanks again for everyone stopping by. Catch you next time.